Hi, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Supreme Apostle Baksay. I'm Supreme Apostle of Supreme King Jesus Christ in the Church of Jesus Christ of Love of Saints, centered here in London, in the royal capital of England, and in Salt Lake City, in Utah, in US, straight into highest heaven. I, Supreme Apostle Baksay, Supreme Apostle of Supreme King Jesus Christ. I'm working on the project. It is the same. It is the same similar project as the Dues to God projects of young men or young women personal progress for grown-ups, so those that are over 18 years of age. So we actually planning so we actually desire to ascend to highest heaven early. So we recognize that the Church of Jesus Christ will dispose with the authority of Supreme Elohim, of the Most High Heavenly Eternal Father, of God the Eternal Father. In the same time, we see the mistakes that the first presidency does are so great that the first presidency was usually announced by the historians and by the other church authorities, the juniors that was coming as the successors of Joseph Smith and of Brigham Young as dead. And we actually realized that the effect of the gospel and the actual effect of the authority of Jesus Christ that we have is greatly wasted, so utterly wasted. So that the man and woman that obtained the authority in time of Joseph Smith and time of Joseph F. Smith, and also in the time of Gordon Bickner Hinckley, is actually in time of Joseph F. Smith, almost all was utterly wasted, and the those in time of Gordon Bickner Hinckley, we actually are from those times of Gordon Bickner Hinckley. As I was born, Gordon Bickner Hinckley was still about to preside over the quorum of first presidency. Then he himself, with all these abilities that he was bestowing upon us, he also died. So now, as President Muslims and Muslims president, I think we must come with something exceedingly new to change this tradition of death in a quorum of first presidency and the other quorum of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We would like to come with somewhat more of life. So this is actually a great hope and exceedingly great light towards later life. So this great light, it helps us to have some more of life for us this project. So we actually registered. We actually registered in United Kingdom, Great Britain, for England and Wales. We would like to expand internationally. Project is at the moment in some sort of limited number of share level for lack of funding. It's named Jesus Christ Ascension, and we're looking forward to get more of the supporters, more of the participants in projects. We might grow great. So we actually look forward to Novelizator, because from the limited company we hope to grow towards a company that is more like a bank, PLC, eventually. as a greater television, like a BYU TV university, as a Brigham Young University. And we also would like to have a political party. So Jesus Christ Ascension might also be consulting. It's a management consulting company that helps in any company to any individual or family or to neighborhoods or like a collegium of the colleagues at the professional brand to learn those rules. It helps us to ascend to heaven early. Now, Jesus Christ was 33 years of age as he was ascending. So let's think what did it mean that Jesus Christ was 33 for us that lives now in year 2016. We have January 2016, so we was wishing to each other Merry Christmas 2015, Happy New Year 2016. Now is 9th of January 2016. So it's a time of new commitment. What is better commitment than to commit ourselves to the last will that brings us to highest heaven? Well, there's really no better commitment. That's really the best of commitment and absolute the peak of commitment that we ever could find in art or in any of the Christian or any other records or memories. So now Isaac Rebels Baksay was discovering that the Church of Jesus Christ in its Articles of Faith that is one of the most valuable laws that we can find in Church of Jesus Christ's policy or as a fundamental guideline for creating any policies. We have Articles of Faith. It is 13 articles or reactions of Joseph Smith that he ever was stating to journalists. They was asking, what is it that this modern Church of Jesus Christ, the surrenders of Joseph Smith, actually believes? And Joseph Smith was summarizing it in 13 articles of faith that was later reformulated by James E. Talmage into the book that is available in the market to buy in a similar book as Jesus Christ, A Miracle of Forgiveness, by other presidents of the church. The Articles of Faith is actually a supporting document and shall not be understood as a fundamental main document. So we actually realized that if we was creating our constitution according to Articles of Faith, it will still be not guaranteed that we will get early to heaven. So for us to get as early to highest heaven as Jesus Christ, age 33, or even earlier, as we remember that Jesus Christ as a king was counseled to us, and we have the record that Jesus was not asking us to be as perfect as he is perfect, except he said first that we shall be as perfect as his Father, that is much more perfect. A comparatory Jesus compared to his Father. Jesus is far not as perfect as his Father. So we have here such a glorious option to accomplish at least as perfect as Jesus, age 33 to heaven or earlier. So what can we, for instance, Joseph Smith is so long dead, so how can he ascend age 33? He cannot at all anymore, right? So that we have Brigham Young, also over 100 years dead person, cannot 33 to heaven. Now we have Brigham Young, the Thomas Spencer Monton. We actually need some American help, so we have here only jokers. American jokers must sleep. We need actually help of those Americans that are lovely, that will not joke us. This is subject that is really of most joy, but also of most earnestness. That's actually solemn promise, what I'm making here. So it's actually something more lawful than a swearing, right? So that I actually would more like to swear. I would like to bring a solemn promise that I will stand here for rights of American citizens, for human rights, for the religious freedoms, and that's the most glorious dignity of honor to American citizens me as candidate or someone who would like to candidate for American presidential election in 2016, coming up maybe in August, if I remember well. So in August, your elections. In February is maybe the closing time, this 2016, with the qualifications for a candidature. So I am looking forward that we might have humanity, as I realize that this glorious saying, God we trust in the United States of America, plus the amendments and the old constitution from since 1760s that really influenced us. We have here American submarines passing around England. We have here different sorts of American jets speeding through the air with ammunition, with the nuclear missile system, nuclear bombing system. We're really surrounded by American military, and it's great influence to any government in Europe Union. So we broadcasting from England, from real capital of England, from London, and we actually feel it's valuable that the United States of America will understand the Constitution of the United States of America and the amendments ratified to the Constitution of the United States of America as the law that is to be serving a man, as the Sabbath is for man. So law is also for the man to choose the president that is maybe American citizen, maybe living or is born on the on this glorious place of that is surrounded by the borders of the United States of America, or is enclosed, encrypted by the borders of the United States of America. Yet, if there's someone like Jesus Christ that was born, for instance, in a place that is not yet completely encrypted by the borders of the United States of America, we must understand the citizens and especially governors of the United States of America having the responsibility to take the law only as a guideline for absolute darkness, like if he was colonizing completely and didn't have any network set, not any communication. So we have actually law of the Constitution of America going on anyways. But we have here high law, we have here gospel of Jesus Christ. So we actually supposed to ratify the best of, and that's where I actually received the power of the Holy Spirit, the power of God, Supreme Elohim, and Supreme Yahweh as God the Eternal Father, and His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. So we may have the American Constitution as the most influential constitution in the world, also through mass media, but especially by the military force of North America, by nuclear missile and nuclear bomb system, influencing every government. Also gently, right? In many cases, there's very gentle influence of the Holy Spirit by the Americans that are asking really to communicate by the power of the Holy Spirit, but offers just some sorts of cemetery influence that the United States of America with the military systems was organizing. I was summarizing the history of the United States of America is really history of American wars. Some of them was such like the local wars with the Britain or with the Indians, or just between each other, with the slavers, or with someone that was selected by Salt Lake City, Utah to have to fight with. Or Mexico was also invaded by some of the American forces, sometimes in 1800, and now in 1900 we actually have now 21st century, but in 20th century that was quite plenty of invasion of North America, worldwide, a global influence. And here, as the Church of Jesus Christ that is centered here in London, in Royal Capital of England, and in Salt Lake City, and it's got most of its bank account in Salt Lake City in Utah, in US, is growing the Holy Spirit that is poured upon the residents, citizens of North America, but especially upon the members of the Church of Jesus Christ. It is centered in here and in Salt Lake City. So we actually have the glorious experience that through the power of the Holy Spirit we might know the power of God. What is the change that we as disciples of Jesus Christ. There might be 2,400, 2,500 millions of disciples of Jesus Christ. 2 billions. It might be in Slovakian Church public note is 2 miliarda. 2 billions, and that is 2 miliarda, and maybe 2 billions and 500 millions are disciples of Jesus Christ. So what should we do in this time of great American wars, nuclear massive systems, that we may ascend early as Jesus was commanding, age 33 since birth of a mother, or earlier? I mean, we're speaking about someone who's 23, who's 13, or children approximately 3 years of age may also ascend. If we nicely also pregnant women or mothers that just give birth to their child and just was operated, that they have child milk from their breast, suckling, can also ascend to highest heavens. There are circumstances, and we can ask as the discipleship of Jesus Christ, as apostles and priests of Jesus Christ, and we can obtain the gifts that we're asking. Is having the anchor also in the Gospels that was written by, for instance, Matthew the Evangelist, chapter 7, verse 7, ask and you shall receive. So let us believe that we may do any change that will have that glorious effect upon our souls. So we may experience translation of our souls into the glory of Supreme Elohim, of Supreme Yahweh. So we may ascend to highest heaven right now. Me, I'm 36, so it was not earlier than 33. But there may be some discounts that we may experience, those that are not accurately Americans, not accurately holding the nuclear mass system upon mankind, supported maybe even by nuclear bomb system and by the laser artillery system that is worked together for American citizens. So we know where's much is required. Yes, also in Doctrine and Covenants of the Church of Jesus Christ, section 82, verse 3, or in Gospel of Jesus Christ by the St. Luke the Evangelist, chapter 12, verse 48, for us to be mindful of really judging wisely who is much given and who not, to know that who is really responsible and punishable and who not, right? So we therefore need to go into American Constitution to make a change. Maybe also some Hollywood actors could help. They was making such movies like Mission Impossible, and they're really spitting like into the museum with the American Constitution. And we have their treasury, right, protected by the secret system, and they were spittingly making a change. And the lawyers and the governors, constitutional governors of United America could just have spittingly reloading, refreshing their minds with a new constitution. So maybe if Nicolas Cage with his national treasury knowledge and also the Mission Impossible, there is maybe Cruise, maybe the name of the other actor will be surely revealed, Tom Cruise. He also got some knowledge. How can we get the breakdown of novelization? I think the best is official as I do the legal action. I'm trying to get into conjecture for President of United America, or we might do petitional action to make a change, as United America is not only a country for itself, they're with their God within the boundaries of the country, but it's really outgoing nation of Americans with their nuclear mass systems, with their airplanes, their fleets, Navy fleets, ships, with all these submarine travel, the traveling mankind, all the governors are scared, right? In every country, what it will be again for Mormonism that they'll receive from Salt Lake City, and then if Mormons really coming with any of commandments that might happen, something like genocide somewhere, or even worse, like religious destruction of Antichrist, as it was in the time of communism. in many countries. They was actually minimalizing the church activities, or was setting church activity in a nation as secondary. And then there was remaining only two countries that was really trusting in God or less. One was saying, God save our King, and the other was saying, in God we trust. So we have some more countries, but it was seeming sometimes already in the mass media. So because we have here United America as outgoing military nation, it really abuses the nations and is sorts of accusing nations to be very afraid that it could be also worse by the Mormon leaders. So we actually, as the members of the Church of Jesus Christ, that would like to be saved from Mormonism into the celestial doctrines of the supreme creators, God, Eternal Father, and Jesus Christ, to get beautified to their level. So we actually came to a decision to novelizate the Constitution of the United States of America, and the novelization that we proposed will actually have the sound of interpreters. So we would like to hire interpreters, as we ourselves feel a single position as great as almost as war prisoners. I sometimes feel as a war prisoner. A co prisoner that is not completely so. I could actually move and do some shoppings. I could get out of home to places, sometimes also 30 kilometers away from my home and back, and I still feel plenty of freedom. But because my income is actually limited by the Mormon dictators from Utah and by the military system that now is in NATO, that the bank is actually subject to will of some Mormons that have monarch in different sorts of tables that are created by Mormon leaders, and Jesus Christ will suffer for permitting such a perversion. The American Mormon Nazis are dictating to any European country how they should live. So we therefore, to get liberate, to have highest heavens and earth as in highest heaven, proposing that the interpreters of the most beauty and of the most perfect sound will accept approximately this layout or this outline of the Constitution of the United States of America. So this is the preamble. So we actually first will state the name of the Constitution. So the name of the Constitution, main heading now will be, this is the perfect new Constitution of Jesus Christ. So that will be the headline or the name of the Constitution. It will not be written as this Constitution of the United States of America, even though it will be the only Constitution of the United States of America. The old Constitution will no more have the function of Constitution of the United States of America. So we'll have the expired date before this perfect and new Constitution of Jesus Christ will be adopted or accepted as the only Constitution of the United States of America. Now the preamble will be that this is the Supreme ELOHI'M's and Supreme Yahweh's Constitution of Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh for the citizens and residents of the United States of America and for their neighbors and friends to experience highest heavens and earth and highest heaven and ascension to highest heaven now or exceeding early. And then that will be end of preamble. We see the preamble as some more exactly and even with a brighter view, more closely explaining the heading, the name of Constitution, then comes the preamble, more perfectly explaining, and then comes the 10 main paragraphs. It's supposed to be a modern interpretation of those interpretations that Jesus Christ was dictating to evangelists and are recorded in the New Testament and Bible. So Moses, ever in Old Testament, was received 10 words, so 10 commandments. that was explained throughout the Old Testament, and then a modern interpretation by Jesus Christ is now becoming somewhat too old for us to ascend to heaven. So we actually was experiencing ascensions to heaven extremely long ago, and now it's a sort of pause between ascensions. So we see that the pause is maybe longer than 1,000 years, and we actually supposed to bring to us some more of this promise that is promised by Jesus Christ. So we actually pleased to have the gospel of Jesus Christ. We need also presence of Supreme Elohim and of Supreme Yahweh. So we might have something more perfect in 2016 since the birth of Jesus Christ. So we have testimony that Jesus Christ was born 2016 years ago, and then it was 33, that's approximately 1,984 years ago. Maybe, so we have here now testimony that we also can ascend to high heaven. Paragraph 1 is to be interpreted. So, and we so far was identifying that it shall be approximately this word outlined in our new constitution, paragraph 1. The dignity is honor, and it is our ascension, or early ascension, into highest heaven of each individual that ponders about what shall happen to them, the dignity might be answered, that might be honored. And then you understand, and that's actually the end of the first paragraph, and now we can explain in approximately another 10 sub-paragraphs that might be on different layouts. It might be on a separate page or separate booklet. Some of the principles that we might explain that will actually formulate. So now the second paragraph, for us to experience some more of the presence of God, is the wedding. So we actually proposed that straight in the second paragraph, that there was in the time of Moses formulated that thou shalt not create thyself or make thyself any of the engravings or any of the idols or images, anything that is in heaven on earth or in what is under earth, the Lord is serving. So we actually interpreted this as absolutely new outline about the second paragraph is that my images or images of God supposed to marry in a true order of prayer. And that's actually full stop, second paragraph, and then I laid out in some longer paragraph that might be 10 to the second paragraph or sub-paragraphs. And it will be on different outprint on a different page or different booklet. So this would be actually posing that we may get. Now the third paragraph is we take the children of God and we accept them, we got them, we take them in, we grant them a glorious future. So that will be actually only in less words. So the third paragraph will be there. We'll accept or we'll take the children of God by the word of God and in the name of our Most High God, Omnipotent, is God the Father and His only begotten Son. So ELOHIM is the Father and Supreme Yahweh and His Son. And this is the actual third paragraph. So actually it's only approximately 6 words that we use in the third paragraph, and it's shall contain taking and my children or children of God, and then the third word or two words will be that they shall be reared by the word of God or taken by the word of God and in the name of God. Right? And then today we can have another 10 sub-paragraphs to explain, or 10 books to explain the third paragraph. That's actually the same meaning as the first one. Dignity is honor, and that is that we individuals, families, and great units like neighborhoods, nations, and unions of nations, as opposed to be translated into the glorious ones of God, ascend to highest heaven. So actually, the ascension to highest heaven is the first paragraph. So first, now we got the fourth paragraph. So we must govern by appraisals from Sabbath to Sabbath. So we see the Sabbath is still of worth. Everything was Saturday, then later it became Saturday and Sunday. Saturday because it was a time of creation. Sunday because we actually want to be a prayer people. So we are disciples of Jesus Christ. We want to pray to God. We want to have actual presence of God. So we actually abstaining from anything as, for instance, Jeffrey Holland from North America. He likes contentions. So he any time is going somewhere and is shouting any sorts of hooligan sayings that are sort of peppered with some sorts of extra spices of his academical authority. His, the Jeffrey was not only apostle, he was also president of Brigham Young University, and into this special also type of his drug loan business that he's coming as a drug loan to contention. So that's what we don't want for Jeffrey Holland, right? So every customer spends some money, but then his wife died and he's now tired. So he's sending Jeffrey Holland to have this contention, and that's what we don't want. So we actually want only peace and only prayer to God. So this our constitution is prayer to God. So not any contentions Jeffrey Holland to come. Otherwise, we need to ask anti-American commandos to really slay some number of Americans. And there is meeting around the Vice President of America to get Jeffrey Holland to have such courage to contend with others. So when Vice President of America take Jeffrey Holland to American borders into United America and advising that if he's going outside of United America, but also in United America, not to open up any contentions, except he will be punished by the law. In America, there's the law to really kill people, right? By the law, the Jura, they're taking people to the justice and they're killing them by the word of judge. Here in European Union, we are somewhat more loudly, was committed by the governments of the United States of America. That here in Europe, going to kill people de jure. So if anyone commits such a contention as Jeffrey Holland or Thomas Desmond, they will not be killed here in Europe. In America, killed. So that's what we actually hope. We look forward to have a beautiful face. We look forward to get from the contentious nature of the American fighting Mormons like Jeffrey Holland, and we looking forward to they confess really what was happening, when it was happening, how they did it, and also those spirits that was helping them to the contention that we will set it clear there. We are praying people, so we are disciples of Jesus Christ. Okay. Paragraph 5. So we actually want all these endowments for our parents and for ancestors. That's one is dignity, honor, ascension to heaven. Paragraph 2 is wedding, and images of God, marry in true order of prayer. Paragraph 3 is to have the posterity, take the children of God by the word of God and in the name of God. Will be explained in later pages. And now we're speaking about the front and main page in a book of modern novelization of the Constitution of the United States of America as the Constitution of the country. Maybe it seems not too aggressively, but they exceed aggressively with nuclear and bombing and Utah muscle system, and later Auschwitz harasses all nations with their fascism that they have in Utah, and then they actually, with all their religious movement of Christianity, laying themselves down in the graves for last 200 years. So that's through a long time. The Americans to get in their stupid heads and the stupid governor heads of dumb American governors and presidents, and some more wisdom. They might know they're really not good as they're really bad. All the American governors. And we need them to repent and to restitute and become good. So that's when the Americans become wise and good. And we actually saying very mildly in the form of petition, in the form of constitution, in the form of application that is acceptable. So we're not invading, we're not attacking, we're not looking for contentions. We actually, in the spirit of prayer of Jesus Christ, our God, trying to get dumb American governors, dumb American presidents from White House, Washington, D.C., in the last 7 years, to get wise, to get wisdom, to not get contentions into their graves and into their cemeteries, but to get really ascension to highest heaven. So that's also for the parents and the ancestors to be saved, right? So we're speaking to children that are really advanced to listen or to punish. Because I myself, sometimes talks about to care for, so when I get to generosity and forgiveness is a paragraph 8. So now in paragraph 6, we might get ordered up into our minds to memorize is that before in time of Moses, before Jesus Christ was born, there was those who not kill. The time of Jesus Christ shall not get angry. Now it's modern time. We want finally great numbers of disciples of Jesus Christ, approximately 2,500 millions of disciples of Jesus Christ. That means approximately 144,000 of males, 144,000 females every minute ascending into highest heaven. Virgins was actually mentioned by John the Revelator, and that was saying males, there's 140,000, and then of course that it was chastising by John the Revelator. They were knowing of they are the virgins. There's another 144,000 or more virgins, and they are supposed to be taken to heaven at these times now. So to get wisdom to governors of North America, to those that are around the election of 2016, the Cuban president that was twice elected was actually banned from the possibility to be elected by the amendment. And because we propose that it will be only some sort of pale white male, is getting whiter and whiter and more white. So we hope that the governors of North America, all inclusive, also vice president, also president of North America, will choose me, even though it was seemingly not that I was having birth within the boundaries of North America, within the country of North America, but because of the great influence of military and great movement of the military outside of the borders of North America, with the Novelisation and a modern laser artillery system of North America, and its influence upon governors. And my project there is really salvation to wisdom, knowledge, and exaltation to citizens of North America. The order is making us also fruitful, also pleased, also saved from fascism of Utah and mixture of Utah for many years until approximately December 2015. We're thinking ourselves that could possibly the Supreme Court of North America is placed in Utah. So we just once or twice was realizing and again forgetting that the Supreme Court is in Washington, D.C., somewhere near the White House and near the, or somewhere else. But we'll find out what the Supreme Court of North America. They have FBI, so FBI is actually a Bureau of Investigation of the Supreme Court of North America. any other national federal courts of President of United America might be also known. We know President does lots of criminality in the form of disciplinary treatments to the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This got exceedingly great effect on criminality of also other churches, other denominations, religions, or of the other world meetings. So we hope the FBI will make President Monzon and presidents of the Church of Jesus Christ, General President of the Church of Jesus Christ, very busy with the investigation of their own actions and judgments and of their own policies to need the church to be changed. And as we know, say the Constitution of the United States of America, it might be easy legal action to get the Constitution of the United States of America and also the church formulate perfectly, so that perfect formulation. So we reading all the viewers, we just not realizing we have 2 viewers, so we actually asking for blessings of God and blessings of exaltations to all those that honoring us even with viewings, all the neighborhoods, also to bless with visions of God and with exaltation of Jesus Christ and our own personal exaltation. And we're getting to the paragraph 7. So 6th paragraph, actually we need to formulate the 6th paragraph. So 6th paragraph in a modern constitution will be first part that be citizens and residents of the United States of America and is adaptable to any nation and to any unit, to any individual as the last will, are actually in desire to partake ultimately of those herbs that are pleasing unto the sight of God and good for food with God, man Jesus Christ, or man Father, eternal Father in heaven, and His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. That's the first part of the 6th paragraph. Now, the second part of the 6th paragraph, that we're very grateful that Christianity was delivering to me, to our first person, by the prophecy and by the laying on of hands of those that have really great influence in America, that's the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Salt Lake City, that we hope that they will also understand that they need to live up to those commitments and commissions and that made and the covenants they entered by accepting the authority of Jesus Christ. So to live up to it, we need to know this Constitution, and we need to understand the sacrament or the wealth or the food. I need to distribute it equally or equitably. So that's still part 6. So the first part is just well, wisdom to partake ultimately of those as the reason to decide for good food and desirability. Might include also dress. So we were speaking about wedding in paragraph 2, we were speaking about Ascension in paragraph 1, but it is actually each paragraph to be meant. The first, second, third is meant also 4th, 5th, and 6th. And the dress also shall be vegan dress. This is our first parents was ever record taken that it was dressed in leather dress. It was really killing animals, and it was dressed in skins of leather of animals. So now in the modern times, we would like to get the dress that is vegan dress. So vegan dress is herbal ultimately, or if it is of wool, so it is of living animals that are hurt as least as possible, so that not least, neither wounded, neither scratched, as the actual wool is taken from the sheep or from the ram. So that's what we are now looking forward to experience. Yes, some sort of herbal life of equality and equity, and that is in paragraph 6. Now, paragraph 7 is actually to be formulate some further how shall we employ the procreation of powers. So that's actually 4 in time Moses that was those shall not commit adultery in time of Jesus Christ. Those shall not even think to employ stars with anyone there might see. And now in this modern time, educated about of the disciples of God and those who were sent to heaven early, relatively early. So Jesus was very early. That we would like to have in our 30s or early to ascend. Or Moses was ascending in 80s, approximately. Some saying that he was 120. Some ever was stating that he could be also 170. So we hope that he was only about 80 as he was ascending than Moses. So now we would like to formulate the paragraph 7 is that a man ought to marry one or more women, first Jews, then Greeks. And that's the full empire. So that's the constitution as a first and main outline. It can formulate similarly. So that formulation might still just assume maybe that one man is to marry one or more women, first Jews, now Greeks. So that could be also formulated. So the Jews might also have different weddings, right? Mentioning them as first, as it was ever by Jesus Christ formulated, and as this ever in the Bible very clear from laying out the Bible or the Holy Scripture as a standard main Holy Scripture. And then we have also the scattering of Israel, especially 700 years before Jesus Christ. There was some conspiracy of the Jews with Assyrians and all the northern tribes of Israel. It was maybe also 7 of them was betrayed by Jews and by Assyrians and was taken captives on the north to Assyria or Syria and was maybe sold in some sort of slavery or servitude or some sort of war imprisoning towards Greece and Rome. Later, as Jesus Christ was born 700 years later, there was again Ephraim there in Israel in the form of Greek villages or Greek inhabitants of Greek villages that was built around Jesus. There were several Greek villages, and there was also Roman emperors with their Ephraim mindset. Those scattered tribes of Israel. So that's to be actually appreciated. We have such an understanding of the Old and New Testament, a scattering and gathering of Israel. So now Greeks to be understood also as Israel. The Jews was first, now Greeks are actually the I would propose first, as we ever could read somewhere and let those who read understand that the first shall the last shall the first. So as Jews was the first, now there might be also first, but the Ephraim as there was the last first. So maybe even before Judah, right? So we can probably not step over Jesus, as Jesus is the Yahweh, except Jesus himself will ask that we so perfect as his Father, and even more perfect as him. And then we need to be also very grateful, so we maybe let Jesus up about not trying to Sabbath, but to stay actually and to serve anything that we get under our feet. So Jesus says, under feet to his footstool. So that's what we hope to always remember. And we have paragraph 7 formulated. Let's get to paragraph 8. We need to be generous and forgiving. Well, many books can be written about generosity and forgiving. Those who are generous and forgiving will be generously forgiven. It's promise of Jesus Christ. As soon as you are forgiven, you are in heaven. So we feel it that we now to ascend to heaven. So it appears to pray the light, or great light again at the ask of the angels. We will not be surprised. We actually will accept immediately to leave here into higher 7. So maybe the extra call from higher 7 will be sent to our Lord or removed, and ask the angels will accept us then to enter extra cloud and to ascend right now. We broadcast hopefully. So 2 viewers and others will attending by the Spirit might have if they are going to spend in the neighborhoods about Ascension. Otherwise, we continue to ensure the election of America also, as it is our secondary activity or our trivial for actually that's what trivial what we're trying to achieve is the government from Sabbath and Sabbath by Appraisals. We would like to govern from Sabbath by Appraisals To govern by appraisals is glorious. There will be no punishments, and it might not take too long to switch from the government of punishments and appraisals to only governor of appraisals, when punishments will actually not exist anymore. So that's what it is in heaven, and we hope to get it more perfect in hell, eternal Father, so more perfect in heaven as our motions are motions that He created Himself to have really most celestial heaven. Now let us see what will be part of not in our modern constitution. Yeah, it's actually humility, or the action of sharing the gospel and to proclaim or declare to outline all the perfect abilities and of perfect talents gives God. So that's what we formulate as part of 9. Now, the part of 10 is diligence and performance of the will of God. And all of these are constitution with its title and with its preamble and 10 paragraphs is actually charity. So the charity is a perfect love that is exceeding prophecy that is really bringing many people into amazement. There is something greater than the prophecy. And now let us sing. So I think that it's very easy and possible to get beautified, to get better. And hymn singing helps us to get really perfect, as God is perfect. So we have selected from the Gospel of Jesus Christ by St. John the Evangelist, chapter 13, verses 33 to 35. As I have loved you, love one another. This new command, love one another. By this shall men know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one to another. Brothers and sisters, it's glorious to have acceptance into the church. I sometimes would like to be included into the Church of Jesus Christ. And I really have success to some degree. I was also serving the full-time proselytizing mission. I received this conference of the authority to serve as international missionary into Slower Republic, into the same home that was actually my home as I was born. So as I was born in 19th of September 1979, it was written that I'm home at a place where I then approximately 22 years later was receiving a conference by President of First Presidency. I was at that time Governor Hinckley, Thomas Monson, so the two presidents of First Presidency, and James as a spouse. It was 2002, and I was actually compared to President England's Missionary Training Center, President England, as well as Frankfurt, German mission. And I supposed to be set apart by the American president of the Czech Prime Mission, that Slovak Republic was inclusive, as the Church of Jesus Christ, the Slovak Republic was inclusive, Czech Mission of the Church of Jesus Christ. I was then set apart in a mission building, capital. It was at the royal capital, now it's just a republic capital named Prague. And there on Mount of Kings, that was named Castle Mount. It's also such a good station around named Castle. Underground stations. That nearby we have a building, mission building. I was set apart as an international missionary, and I found it great success. I received such a great honor by the First Presidency and by all the government of the Church of Jesus Christ, also by those mission presidents where I was sent. I received certificates and signs of honor. I'd like to have some more, actually much more, so we hope that might be creating an artistic minds and orders of Utah and the fascistic thinking of how to get the Utah nations first above all. And so we need to maybe get God first. So that's what I believe that will be success to me too. And that's what I hope that we might have. So let us sing some more. I actually remember so many courageous singers that was ever singing. We have here such a exceedingly glorious book. It's Hymns of the Church of Jesus Christ book that we have for a while. There are signs of the ages. So the front page. So we might maybe sing together some more hymns that will help us to choose Reverend me as Baksay to be elect as President of the United States of America. We still have some moments that I could get actually more quality of broadcast. Some are in television. I could get some of beauty in a beauty spa. I could get a nicer crown and a nicer teeth, and I get really whitening, and so that Jesus really actually feels celestial as many of the celebrities. And what can help us is sing of such good hymns as we have here, text by Philip Pratt and music by George Callas. And he actually just feeling us beginners in singing, so you will actually get the professional level. Until then, we'll just sing as we just know the morning breaks. Philip Pratt and George Callas. The morning breaks, the shadows flee. Zion's down, Lord Jesus on throne. The dawning of the day. The dawning of the day. Majestic rest us on the world. The clouds of fear disappear before the rise of truth divine. The glory bursting from afar. The glory bursting from afar. Why Lord, the nations soon will shine. The gentle fullness of in, and his blessings are at hand. Lord Judas, friend, uncleansed from. Lord Judas, friend, uncleansed from. Shall be in their promise, God, none stand. Brothers and sisters, I would like to sing some more. We just have actually the military opposition, and it actually displays in our ability to sing. So the spirits actually have enough of the persuasion by the governors of the United States of America and by the British government. I actually exhort public to sing maybe somewhat better, but there again was some other troubles that was maybe even greater than we have here with singing. There was troubles with interpersonal overviews that we could receive only in England and Mongol, and we received it here. So we are actually happy. Now if we want to receive some more, we need to find out what to do as a military position is really terrifying. And we hope that it get better. To move to slower probably for me to Baksay, that's such a science. I get really everything better there. So I was really accused to be homeless to feel good in Florida public, as the Florida governor was officially not asking me to have anything more excellent there in Florida public. Even ever I could live somewhere near National Archives of Florida public in a nice mountain setting on top of the mount, in the top of the flat and tower building. So it was amazing large apartment that I was sharing with its owner or with the investor that was actually providing housing for me. And there was really a lot of people. There was stake president, Archbishop of the Church of Jesus Christ from Germany, that was allowing me to feel good in Florida public. Now, in this time, I'm really not sure how can I get any housing in Baksay. So if anybody knows how can I move there to a single setting, I would like to. I think that I'm much wiser and much prepared to get any success there in Bratislava. I'm actually applying for candidature as a sort of a secret candidate in a presidential election in Western America. I also would like to get official candidature and to candidate in the first presidency. So I would like to be accepted as the best candidate for first presidency, exceeding the Thomas Bensimons that is now there. And I don't want him to die or to get into sacrament. Even though I sometimes was really getting somewhat angry after decades of the fascism of his presidency, and that I really was a partisan of euthanasia, and that I Nazism, euthanasia and partisan too. So I was actually sometimes I was thinking myself that I maybe will be even as weak, but now I feel so much stronger at this level because I'm really grateful that we have television brothers and sisters. And so I think that President can remind in presidency and in function of maybe counselor to counsel to us when he has sort of like 10 demons or 12 demons person that he mentioned at one of John conferences the last 10 years, the last 15 years. General conference, there was about 30 general conferences, and President also was mentioning the number of demons. Yes, maybe it was even 2 general conferences that President was introducing himself as demonia. So now we would like to have him as counselor, so we might find out when he has such a sack of demons was committing anywhere. We may restitute. We know that our youth will like to obey Jesus Christ, like to obey our God, so we want to obey Yahweh, and will like to ascend early into highest heaven. I mean, it's earlier, so we'll have them early to help Thomas to restitute when he died, what he did when he was committing the last 4 years of being apostle of Lord Jesus Christ. But at the same time, American citizen and some sort of Godzilla from the Japanese sea where Thomas Mountain with artillery gun. The American Navy was really shooting people dead by one shot. You can imagine if artillery gun is pointing towards people and shooting there, it could be really calamity and the consequence of injuries could be also death. And I think President really was such a Godzilla that really was killing extremely Japanese and maybe also other nationals was fighting there with Americans and was also killed by Americans. So now it's such a Godzilla as president of first presidency. We need to think what the other presidents of Church of Jesus Christ, even of even birth, as they don't have such a very high position. It is modern as evil Godzilla or even as good Godzilla. They're in office presidency. So we actually looking towards the translation of our souls into the glory of the Yahweh and inclusion of President into leadership also after eyes of Baksay, will win election into the actual office of president or court of first presidency. So such option exists, and we may get it. The Ascension of Baksay will be really presiding on the court of first presidency. Now we would like to have everyone in the general headquarters of the church changing their name to Supreme Board and Supreme Presidents of the Church of Jesus Christ. And we would like to have it on the young people. So what we will do with the old people, we might have them to preside only over older people, so they also can send to heaven. If they need some young, we will of course give them some young, but maybe on exchange, so if they not send it with them to heaven within 3 years, the complete exchange with other young people, so those young people 3 years suffering on and take to heaven. There's so long time learning, we will have them then rehabilitate. Now, what is the goals of the current president of first presidency? We can find out on general conference. So there are goals. There's also timing of those goals. So we would like to listen to heaven right now, or actually do like within an hour, or actually all within 24 hours. They're not even mentioning that so far in the conference. So what we was hearing that they actually planning as first presidency on the conference to kill all people dead, decompose, somewhere in their graves, and then to be resurrected, as it is evident in the first 15 paragraphs of the 37th chapter of Old Testament prophet named Ezekiel. There will be bones that will spread dry, some laid up, and some clothes circled with the seal with sinews, so sinew on board, and the flesh and muscles, and then the skin, and then the winds from 4 corners of the earth was actually blowing, giving breath to those bodies resurrected, those dead people with their bones was quite dry. And something such first presidency was prophesied for the conference that is not any goodness, it's quite too bad, but it's still better than those who doesn't want it all, right? So those who want to heaven, it's really only at least almost 1% of goodness. So that's others will think that 100%, it's 100%, 100% that we're not to heaven is an hour, almost 24 hours to heaven. And I want to right now highest heavens and earth is nice heavens. And all those they are saying with their Christianity, or they believe in one God, in agreement. And then it's be absolute equality. So that's what was ever mentioning in paragraph 6 and the Novelisation Constitution that we actually were speaking some minutes ago. So do we have agreement? So anybody would like to send a message, a complimentary message of agreement? That's also a hope that you might have here. Blessing, presence of God for those who was true viewers, and now they also may have some more of viewers, and they also will send the compliment messages. We will most likely those to send that have long and blue eyes, so that's true. They would like to have some of those that are maybe in the age of between 12 and 16, or from 16 to 17, or maybe also 18 to 29, and from 29 from 30 to 37. I'm 36, so I actually hope most likely in teenage to have messages. But I was feeling like a Katy Perry singer, the Catherine Elizabeth Hudson, was having interest. So if she will, as 31 years of age, have interest, that maybe also good foundation for Glory's wedding. Or we might just singles that are in their 30s compared to our salvation. So I would like to see there's such a beautiful message there the singer from Katy Perry band, Catherine Elizabeth Hudson has got a comment here. So also Taylor Swift, Taylor Ellison Finley Swift from North America, also his queen, or maybe even sometimes seems like a main lead queen of the modern music in North America, and consequence of essentially called queen of the modern music, surrounded also by the missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ, with the chicken, beef, and pork in their navels. But we know we also have missionaries of Jesus Christ in the Church of Jesus Christ that are vegetarians or vegans. Many of them are very wealthy. That was nicely robbing on occasion, the wealth, and was subjecting them down to their situation. So we are very grateful at the age. It's not only America and England, they scored quite good wealth, but we also have many of the European countries that have good wealth. And as I was ever hearing and checking the evidence of Christianity in Kiev and Russia, that's now named Ukraine, and also Belarus and Russia, I believe that there was doing so much Christianity, and so many of the buildings for Jesus Christ was built. If they had best formulations of that what they was doing, it was really Christianity. So if there was better formulating it or not, I actually am exciting for them to also have excessive wealth. So if we say that in America we have 300,000 billionaires or more, 2-3 million billionaires. So I hope the Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians, all billionaires, for their glorious Christian background, and also for their desire to be really pure, European-looking people. They're not mixing the races together. It's sort of bastardy mix of the future generations. They really would like on Russians. They really love to be pure European look, and that they will like to keep races as it was proposed by God, the Supreme Lord Yahweh, in their ancient places that they were sent. Sometimes at a time when the great Babylonian Tower was built, it is maybe some written, or surely that why was actually Babylonians building such a great tower? If I remember well, there was really proposed that there was building tower to get to heaven. So great scare. How can I want to have to heaven? Is there any other option to get to heaven? So some maybe thought to build a great wall to get to heaven. So there's also subjects, the Mongols, they actually built a wall to get to heaven. There was so much war because they was actually coming with their great hosts and was eventually causing Europeans to have injuries by the military action of the Mongols. And this great war that they had north and south of Mongolia, they could maybe essentially have a war. Why would they build? So we actually have houses, they are actually have walls, so it helps us to be comfortable. So that wall was also helping them. So the Tower of Babylon, people was actually sent to different locations since the Tower of Babylon was kind of forsaken by the Godhead, and the nation that was building it was sent in different directions to find their place of anciency in the future. And now we have future thousands of years later, thousands of summers later, and Jesus was also on earth. And as Jesus was born, he had nations in the order that we can order about was mentioning. There was the order that the Jews was firstly around Jesus, and then there was the Greeks as secondary, and there was two types of Greeks, and there was Greeks from maybe Peloponnese, if I remember well. So there was the Athens and Sparta, and then there was the Greeks, and there was the Roman Greeks. And there was looking very similar to Greeks, but was somewhat modernized, was somewhat more rich, and was somewhat more powerful with their legions, and was protecting Jesus Christ and some sort of security circle of this former type of Europe Union, of the former Rome. In modern time, we have Americans in Rome, so they have nuclear muscle system and nuclear bombing system in place with artilleries. Upon Italians, upon the Vatican, so all the Catholic Church is actually in a dictature of American Mormons. So would it not be reason to attend the Book of Mormon musical? Maybe Americans are confessing there if they are really crazy. Can anybody help them to heaven? But they have so many of nuclear massas and nuclear bombs and laser artillery that the religion of Jesus Christ is becoming some sort of secondary, trivial, partial, or even lesser in their lives, even that they try absolutely their maximum, but at the same time, there's this prolonged movement out there of the destruction, their cemeteries, and these funeral services, insurances, and the other plans that they set in there. So need to actually get them saved. They asking them to save them. Also, in the Book of Mormon musical. So they actually can help them. So I was actually really obtain the gifts of the Holy Ghost to help them. So would they please do now what I say? I also would like to be more athletic. I ever was athletic. I was advanced student of the European organization of athletics. That was such European kickboxing that I was brought to do because the Americans they had hockey around, and there was by Jeffrey Holland and Thomas Vincent training some hockey. I couldn't get to hockey myself, but I was actually to kiss their fists as they was fisting my mouth as they was meeting somewhere. So I was wondering for decades, how could that happen? I just was talking to them, and there was sort of having with a fist in my face, and a month ago with Jeffrey Holland convinced them from America understanding the word hockey as English American. That's an NHL action. Or tennis, similar table tennis. So I was trying both, and I actually was sort of boxed off or about, maybe not from ice hockey, but surely to kickboxing. And that was, of course, the pledge. So I think the American president, president first presidency, if he's not accurately kickboxing God, or if he's not kickboxing his wife, children, and his neighbors, or maybe he's just sort of like doing athletic movement against the wall of bricks or or against the boxing bag. Never forgive it. I think it's kind of similar as Jesus was taking machete or this axe of Jews, and I was having it to wood to do carpentry. I mean, maybe I can get also that. Do something more Christ-centered to get athletic. But Jesus, as he was baptized, he actually was not doing any more of such athletics, but just didn't have such a long waiting time, right? He was actually all the athletic with the actual carpentry, so he was taking a metallic tool or stone tool, and he was having to the wood, into the wood that he was having in a target, and then he had a table, or chair, or window, or wood, or door, or step, or whatsoever was in need in a household or anywhere in Israel. If they ordered it of Jesus, so just made out of wood, or maybe also other materials. So Jesus was very athletic with life. It's a matter where the man gets really strong, and also it's an Olympic look. And that's what I could not, because I was not inclusive into the community as much. So I have some inclusion with only someone. So how can I therefore be American president? We was formulating. I actually, through the power of the Holy Spirit, obtained the modernization of the Ten Commandments that God gave to Adam and Eve and to Moses. So mainly to Enoch on the way of Adam and Eve and the ancestry, and then also Moses and to Eliah. There is an English language named Elijah. So in Israel language of Eliah, from the tribe of God is actually Eliah, but in the English language it's Elijah. So that's from the tribe of God, and then we have Jesus. So Jesus actually first as me. also first, Jesus first, and I'm also with Jesus first. And then come also Enoch, Moses, Elijah, Peter, James, and John. And that's the order that helps us to understand that I am American president, and it will not take long that I will look again at someone more perfectly as Jesus, as the American president, all president of first presidency of Jesus Christ, and the other president are candidating also to the level of president of the United Nations, president of the European Union, president of Justice, president of North Atlantic Treaty Organization, president of Russian Federation, Belarus, Ukraine, of Israel as a country, of International Olympic Committee. So this is some of the most valuable offices that I'm candidating for to be elected. So, the man, if he is finally completely dead, if he is finally inclusive, if he is finally followed and supported, mankind is finally going to support, can bring something good, especially if it is official, especially if it is the official agenda of the person. So we need to always check what is the program of the candidate, and that will be actually about to get. Now, to get better vocabulary, to get some more English, we hoping to get more viewers. So we have 2 viewers at a time. So we asking to get voters about anonymously. So we hoping to have all voters voting for me, in the United States of America presidential elections. So we hope that also the other candidates themselves, regardless of amendments, I would like the amendments of the Constitution of America will be accepted only for time of emergency. They absolutely don't know how to have the Holy Spirit. Let's send amendments that's featured at least of the Spirit order of United America. So now because we feel the Holy Spirit, we feel that we have someone that is maybe not born boundaries of momental borders of North America, was not born encrypted with the borders of North America, but maybe notwithstanding effect was similar 9 September in Czechoslovakia. It was really surrounded by military, by nuclear system, weapon system. Roundabout, and also my Soviet military too, as the inner circle was the Soviet military, and it was happening about 11 years before I was born. And also Poland was invading Czechoslovakia. Also Eastern Germans came in 1968, and maybe in the summer 1968. Also Hungarians came with their tanks to invade Slovakia. So at that time, God was also descending to say to all those soldiers in the Arrow children that can behave. They can be good to Czechoslovaks good to them. So we may have early Ascension, and then as it was International Year of the Child, namely Jesus Christ, or also personal updation of me, also very valuable child was born, 1979 International Year of the Child, me, for example, the Baksay of Brat to pass glorious constitution, there is a novelization of the American Constitution, for every unit, for everyone, every individual, and every organization that we have here on Earth, the United Nations. So we may have the order of the Holy Spirit, so we might not need to turn to anything lesser. So let us, maybe we will have some more of the Holy Ghost to sing the hymns of faith, and maybe we just continue. And Morning Breaks by Herbal and George Collins. They actually were born in the first half of 1800. That's the 19th century. Jehovah speaks, let earth hear, and gentle nations turn and live. His mighty horn is making bare, his mighty horn making bare, his covenant people to receive.
angels from heaven and shepherds from earth have met and all have gathered the wonder Zion's light is bursting forth. The Zion's light is bursting forth to bring her ransomed children home.
Francis, that's so beautiful that we can't like for sing the hymns of Jesus Christ. To me, actually, very grateful to. If anyone would like to share some glorious memories.